The walls are closing in on you. The walls are closing in. This is from BusinessInsider.com. 2022 is shaping up to be a legal nightmare for Trump world. Here's a timeline of upcoming court cases and legal obstacles. The pain is coming. Oh yes, the pain is coming. Former President Trump has a number of surprising legal victories ever since he left the White House, though his greatest potential battles are still looming. In November, Summer Zayos, who had accused Trump of sexual assault following her appearance on The Apprentice, dropped her lawsuit against him before he was forced to sit for disposition. Around the same time, New York State judge dismissed a lawsuit from Michael Cohen seeking to have the Trump Organization reimburse his legal fees for what he did on Trump's behalf. But a greater danger looms. The Trump Organization is the subject of a sprawling investigation from the Manhattan District Attorney's Office and the New York Attorney General's Office into alleged financial misconduct. In Atlanta, Fulton County District Attorney Van Willis is weighing charges over his conduct in the 2020 election. Those investigations are proceeding as the Justice Department comes up with about a 5-year deadline to prosecute Trump over possible obstruction of justice that former Special Counsel Robert Mueller III scrutinized as part of the investigation into Russia's interference in the 2016 election. Meanwhile, the Biden administration is standing steady on a steady stream of Trump's White House records to the House Committee investigating January 6, 2021, the attack on the U.S. Capitol. And Trump, along with many of his allies, face political investigations, lawsuits stemming from the January 6th insurrection. Expect the judges in those cases to set court dates later this year. While Trump mulls whether to run in 2024, 2022 is shaping up to be a year of illegal headaches for the former president and his associates. Here is the timeline of the threats that face Trump world. And this is going to be pretty long, so try to follow me on this. January 31st, the New York State Supreme Court will hold a hearing in the criminal case against Donald Trump and his organization and its CFO, Alan Weinsberg, who's become more marginalized within the company following the indictment from last July. The status conference is expected to update the public on how Trump Organization lawyers are reviewing the 6 million pages of discovery material for the case, in which the Manhattan District Attorney's Office alleges the company executive dodged millions of dollars in taxes. The judge has also signaled that he wants to hold a trial before the end of 2022. On February 4th, Trump's lawyers pushed for months in federal courts to keep the Biden administration from turning over his White House records to the House Committee investigating the January 6th attack. At every turn, the former president lost, with the Supreme Court effectively rejecting his claim of executive privilege. Now, with the National Archives and Records Administration already turning over documents, Trump is facing a decision on how or whether to proceed with his legal challenge. An answer could come early as February, just days after the Supreme Court declined to take up the Trump case for lawyers for the House and Biden administration asked until February 4th to make their latest response to the former president's legal arguments. In light of the Supreme Court decision and subsequent product of records to the House Committee, the lawyers said they have agreed that this is the best course to extend the deadline so that Trump can determine his next step. I'm going to freeze that real quick. You can take all the time you want, you orange-faced buffoon. You're going to prison one way or another. Moving on. February 17th, a Washington, D.C. court is set to hold a hearing on the D.C. Attorney General's lawsuit against the 2017 inaugural committee. In November, Trump notched a partial win with the judge dismissed the part of the suit, but the other elements of the case, such as the Attorney General's claim that the committee illegally misused funds, will be moving forward. The hearing is expected to set a schedule for the discovery process before it goes to trial. In March 29th, Joe Greenberg, a former associate of Representative Matt Gaetz of Florida, is expected to go before a judge for a sentencing hearing. Greenberg could potentially be a key witness in the Justice Department investigation into the lawmaker. The Gaetz associate has also already pleaded guilty to several charges, including sex trafficking. And just to remind you all, Matt Gaetz is one of Trump's most loyal supporters. I hope he's loyal to you, Matty. April 4th, the second special grand jury impaneled by the Manhattan District Attorney's Office in its criminal investigation into the Trump Organization's finances is set to wrap by that date. Another indictment in the investigation or decision for the prosecutors not to indict could come shortly thereafter. In May 2nd, jury selection is scheduled to begin trial regarding the civil lawsuit brought by the group of protesters against the Trump Organization. The protesters sued in 2015, alleging the company's security guards roughed them up during a demonstration outside of Trump Tower. A video of the dispensation Trump was forced to take this past fall is expected to be shown at the trial as evidence. Also on May 2nd, a special grand jury for the Fulton County District Attorney Fannie Willis investigation into the Trump will be impaneled on May 2nd and will continue for up to 12 months. This announcement on Monday comes after Willis formally requested to have a special grand jury that would give her subpoena powers to obtain documents and compel witnesses to testify. If that happens, you're basically screwed, Trump. June 1st, District Attorney Willis told the Associated Press that in January that she's expecting to decide whether to charge the Trump by the first half of 2022. On June 29th, Lignans will get to see a copy of Trump's Celebrity Apprentice tapes. June 29th, it marks the deadline of discovery in a lawsuit brought by the group of people who said that the Trump Organization pushed an alleged pyramid scheme. While Trump, in Celebrity Apprentice, vouched for ACN and video phone, Lignans are trying to figure out if other footage shot for the show demonstrate otherwise. Now, ACN has launched an attempt to bring the case to arbitration, and jury is expected to be scheduled for late 2022 or 2023. July the 7th, prosecutors and Roger Stone, one of Trump's longtime political advisors, have to meet this deadline for a civil case in which the United States Attorney's Office in Florida alleged that Stone failed to pay $2 million in unpaid taxes, interest, and penalties. July 18th, Steve Bannon, the former White House chief strategist, is expected to go to court in Washington. Bannon is facing 2 criminal charges over defying a congressional subpoena. The Justice Department formally charged him in November after he refused to comply with the subpoena handed down from the House Select Committee that is investigating the January 6th attack. September 7th, Tom Barrack, the chairman of Trump's 2017 inauguration committee, is set to stand trial in September on charges that he secretly acted as an agent of the UAE, that is the United Arab Emirates. Barrack was charged in July while using his access to Trump to advance the UAE's foreign policy and later misleading federal investigators about his activities in a 2019 interview. The indictment of the top Trump fundraiser marked an escalation of the Justice Department's crackdown in recent years on covert foreign influence. Barrack's legal team is headlined by Daniel Persani, a partner in the law firm of Mavonia and Myers, who previously represented Enron CEO Jeffrey Simling and most recently defended AT&T's acquisition of Time Warner against a Justice Department antitrust challenge. November 7th, Trump's longtime political advisor Roger Stone is scheduled to go on trial in federal court in Florida over allegations that he failed to pay $2 million in taxes as well as interest and penalties for the unpaid sum. Now, of course, Business Insider makes a correction saying that the story originally reported that the U.S. Attorney's Office in Florida filed a criminal indictment against Roger Stone that he failed to pay $2 million in taxes. Prosecutors filed a civil complaint against him. So it's not criminal, it's civil. Facts of this. Donald Trump is in for a legal year of hell. And trust me, it is just getting started. His supporters, like Matt Gaetz, who's probably only steps away from going to prison for the rest of his natural freaking life, trying to avoid gang rape in the shower because he helped traffic children for sex, is going to prison. Roger Stone is going to be up to his eyeballs in debt for the rest of his life. Donald Trump, on the other hand, yeah, he's pretty much screwed. So, he's in for the legal nightmare of his life. But what's really scaring me is the fact that so many of the Trumpers out there still believe that he's innocent. That none of this means any difference. Donald Trump is in for a year of hell. I suggest we continue that year of hell for him. And I'm going to have a lot of fun watching him, his family, his supporters inside Congress and the Senate, the red hat MAGA morons who still to this day believe that he is a god. I cannot wait for all of them to burn. CTP, know the truth. God bless. Peace to the left, justice to the right.